Tonight on AEW Countdown to All Out, we take a special look at the final fight. Is this it for Chris Jericho? Does the AEW Women's World Champion Dr. Britt Baker have what it takes to retain her title? Plus, the AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks, take on the Lucha Brothers in a steel cage. And the AEW World Champion Kenny Omega takes on his nemesis Christian Cage. But up next, JR sits down with the best in the world, CM Punk, ahead of his match with Darby Allin this Sunday. AEW Countdown to All Out starts right now.
The thing we want to talk about is All Out, September 5th. That's the official reason that you and I are sitting here. But I want to say it's good to work with you again.
It's such a pleasure to be sitting here talking to you. We've done this before.
A couple of times.
Yeah, it's cool to be doing this, but in a different environment.
Who'd have thunk it a few years ago?
Not me.
Me neither, man.
Yeah.
Me neither. I was honored to be on the broadcast team for that Rampage in Chicago at the United Center, which was the most memorable moment that I can remember, because even Foley getting tossed off the cell, nothing struck me personally and emotionally like that night, because it renewed my love affair with my mistress, pro wrestling.
Wow.
That's the best compliment I can give you.
I
fell back in love after 40 years.
So heading into your debut and return to the professional wrestling ring, are you nervous for tonight?
Yes. You want me to expand on that?
Yes, he said. How do you feel? Yes.
He asked me if I was nervous. Shut the up. We're doing some professional, real professional.
So what you need?
Real professional stuff here. Yes, I am nervous. But it's not a negative thing, because there was some pretty big moments in my career where I wasn't nervous at all, and that meant I didn't care. So being nervous is good, because it means I care.
What did you think walking out there? Or did you anticipate the ferocity of this reaction?
I think I had a good idea of what the reaction was going to be, but doubts creep in, and you question yourself. You question, do these people remember me? And I was nervous, but everything washed away the instant that music hit, and I heard the first riff.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't hear anything else.
I've heard loud pops. We all love the term the Road Warrior pop.
Yeah.
God bless them both. But man, the sustained pop, the sustained roar, grown men crying. Did you think it would be to that level?
No, I didn't think it could be like that. But I think this business, you have to balance your ego out with being humble. There's always somebody around the corner that's waiting to watch you fall flat on your face.
I'm back because I want to work with that young talent that had the same passion that I had stamped out. I'm back because there's a couple of scores to settle in that locker room.
It's uncharted territory for me. I think it's uncharted territory for a lot of the fans too. They've been, I feel, waiting for me to come back. But not only come back, but to come back and be that CM Punk before everybody knew who CM Punk was to an extent. The guy that, like you said, loved pro wrestling. The guy that whose passion came through. And I think it was the perfect storm. All that collided, and they saw it, and I felt it, and it's kind of nice to get your flowers while you're still alive, you know?
August 20th, 2021. I'm back.
You interacted spontaneously with so many fans at ringside. Did you actually know any of those people?
Well, there was a couple of my family members, like my sisters, and my brother in the front row.
You must have known somebody for tickets.
Those are the only people who wanted tickets. The people I jumped on, stage dive, I have no idea who those guys were. I think they got to do a little bit of a better job catching me next time.
Yeah.
And there will be a next time.
There will be a next time. That's what everybody wants to hear more of. I read online or somewhere, one of our guys told me that you had been talking to Tony Khan for quite some time before making your decision. What does quite some time mean? A year, year and a half, 2 years? How long have you guys been chatting?
I think initially, it's probably been about 2 years. You know, this isn't a decision that I came to lightly. Ultimately, it was my decision, but, you know, the boss of the house, April, I had to run everything by her. And it needed to be the right time. I think the more I thought about it and the more I digested it, and then the more I saw AEW, the more it helped my decision. And, you know, there's just the thought process going into it. There's so much. There's a lot of baggage, there's a lot of pain, and there's a lot of hurt that you got to sift through. And, you know, I do think, you know, you're never going to get better in the place that made you sick. So I had to be removed from it all. And, you know, they say time heals all wounds. I don't know if it heals all of them, but that's why I make the distinction of, you know, where I was and where I am now. They're two separate things.
You and Tony are having these talks for quite some time. Kind of piqued your interest, or at least I'm curious again. Maybe could I do it? Don't want to do it? Do I want to make a commitment? So I'm assuming you started watching our shows, watching Dynamite and others. What was your initial thought when you were watching it? Did you think this brand's got a chance, it's going to find its heartbeat?
I used to go to a lot of punk rock shows when I was a kid, you know, and to see bands like, you know, Green Day play a bowling alley in front of 250 people. And then the next year, they're selling out the Aragon Ballroom, and then, you know, now they're doing stadiums. It's like I see a lot of kids that a lot of times I feel certain people would dismiss them. Oh, they're the shits. Well, no, let's try to help them instead of just writing them off. And I loved the youthful exuberance of it all. There's an energy to the show, and it translates because you can tell that the fans are having the time of their life. And it looks like every Wednesday night, that's somewhere I want to be.
It surprised me, maybe better said, it shocked me when you called out Darby Allin.
I will see you, and I'll see Sting, and I'll see all of you September 5th. And all out, live on pay-per-view.
How did Darby Allin come on your radar that you wanted to fight him in your first match back?
15-year-old CM Punk rolling around in the backyard with his friends. Darby Allin would have been his favorite wrestler. Kids skateboards, kids punk rock. There's something to him. There's parts of him that I feel that some people dismiss. And I think he has a chip on his shoulder. I guess he reminds me of me. So why not?
Coming up next on AEW Countdown to All Out is Chris Statlander ready to call herself the AEW Women's Champion? Plus, will the final fight be the end of Chris Jericho once and for all?
Seeing what Chris has accomplished in AEW since the debut of our brand has been nothing short of extraordinary.
If you think about the labors of Jericho and what MJF put Chris through, Jericho somehow, some way was able to prevail and get victory after victory, except in the 5th and final one.
If Jericho loses against MJF, per the stipulation, Jericho has agreed to retire.
You can run. If I can't beat MJF, maybe I don't belong in AEW anymore.
I don't think anyone understands the ramifications that he felt throughout the wrestling world without having Chris Jericho in it. I'm worried.
Chris has a way, he's got this Wolverine healing factor.
At the end, I thought he was going to make it through.
Jericho has fought through the odds. He has overcome the odds.
Chris has battled adversity his whole career.
MJF has a very real chance of ending the career of Chris Jericho at All Out.
Wow! Right hand from downtown Winnipeg.
There is nothing but momentum right now in the favor towards the younger, psychotic MJF.
Who knows what he will do if he beats Chris Jericho at All Out.
Chris Jericho is a better talent. Chris Jericho is a better person.
He is one of the most important professional wrestlers of any generation.
Chris can't lose this match. He can't.
Sooner or later, he'll cut you down.
When Dr. Britt Baker had her leg broken last year, a lot of people saw that as a career setback for Britt, but really she made the most of it.
It wasn't an accident. It was, in fact, a conspiracy.
She stayed relevant. She used her gift of gab to keep herself on TV and to keep herself in the front of mind in the women's division.
Britt Baker's elevation, becoming the baddest bitch on the block, wasn't by accident.
I promised you this would be the start of a whole new era, and damn was I right.
She's got it! The lockjaw! The tap! We've got a new champion!
I outworked everyone, and no one was along for the ride with me from day one.
We understand her intelligence level. Going through dental school while you're training to be a pro wrestler, super ambitious, and she pulled that off. She has desire, she has passion, she has drive, and she's super competitive.
I've always been at the top of AEW. I've always been the face of this division, and I've always been the baddest bitch on the block.
I fully believe she's the very best in the business, not just in her gender, but in the business, period.
I bleed black and gold just as much as anybody in here, but we can all admit this has been a difficult year for us.
There are some people that move the needle, and there are some people that don't. And Britt Baker moves the needle.
So Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, I present to you hope.
Being champion, great. Staying a champion, another entirely different thing.
When Chris Statlander was injured in 2020, that was heartbreaking. Chris Statlander took that adversity and she turned it into opportunity.
Chris Statlander is back! Chris Statlander looking better than ever!
Since she's come back, she's not lost a match. She has not lost a step.
I know when I first came to AEW, I was calling one of her matches on Dark, and I predicted one day she's gonna be the AEW Women's World Champion. And I still believe that one day is gonna happen.
Statlander has got more physical skills. She's bigger, she's stronger. To me, Chris Statlander is a wrestler. Aside from the stars and this moon and Andromeda, this and all, hell, that's way past my pay grade, folks.
Sure, Chris Statlander has this out of this world from another galaxy, a little boop on the nose, and everything's fine. But don't mistake yourself. There's an incredibly talented athlete and a very smart competitor. And I think that's one of the main concerns that Britt Baker should take into account with Chris Statlander.
Chris Statlander, you being an alien is a crock of shit.
And it doesn't get any bigger than what we're going to see at All Out. Fans from all over the world. This is the major stage.
Chris Statlander can definitely beat Britt Baker.
Every single box is checked in Chris Statlander's favor. She definitely is the favorite going into All Out.
I think these two ladies are gonna tear it up, and it's gonna be tooth and nail.
I just don't see Britt Baker losing.
I don't think anybody can beat the baddest bitch on the block. Baker wins and a slobber knocker. Undefeated Chris Statlander, #1 contender for Dr. Baker's championship.
I know there's a lot of doubters out there that don't think I deserve to be in this spot. I don't care about them. In fact, I enjoy hearing their criticism because they don't understand what it takes to get to the spot that I'm in.
QT Marshall wanted a few words right here.
First of all, it's Marshall, Tony. Let's talk about what shocked the world last week. Tell him. What happened, Tony?
Well, the Factory defeated the Nightmare Family when Anthony Ogogo knocked out Cody Rhodes.
No. Get to the details, Tony. QT Marshall pinned the Prince of Wrestling, Cody Rhodes, in the middle of the ring. Say it.
QT Marshall pinned the Prince of Wrestling, Cody Rhodes, in the middle of the ring.
Don't patronize me, Tony. Say it like you mean it.
QT is just he's not a nice human. He's a terrible person, put it that way.
A week ago, Road Rager, South Beach strap match. Tremendous performance by you.
Whoa. Tony, what's with the attitude all of a sudden? You think I'm buried by the golden shovel Cody holds? Solo, give me that. I should pour this right on you.
Come on.
I'm kidding, Tony.
Come on, jeez.
I would never
All right,
do that.
so look, we're going to... Oh, God, QT, good... What?
What? You gonna hit me? I didn't think so. Tony Schiavone? You want to say you don't like me as a human being? I don't give a crap. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. This is show business, not show friends.
I'm gonna apologize to you for what we're about to do to your son, Chris Schiavone, right now. Don't do this.
Oh! All right, I apologize for everything. How about that, you son of a bitch?
Oh! What the hell? Now wait just a damn minute. I think business is about to pick up.
Paul White had been really disgusted with QT and his antics. Paul's never had time for QT. This upped the ante. Thank goodness he came out, and I would be the last person that would want to get into Paul White's way.
It's always good to have friends in pro wrestling. It's always good when your friend is the biggest man in pro wrestling.
It was amazing to get back in that ring.
Whoa. Paul, with all due respect, there's a reason Tony Khan hired you as an announcer. 5 operations in the past 18 months alone.
I have a match. And guess who my opponent is? At All Out, it's going to be Paul White one-on-one versus QT Marshall.
This match means a lot to him as far as being able to validate the fact that he has returned from an injury that most cannot. But he has been cleared to wrestle. He's ready to go. How do you beat Paul White with that purpose that he has? You could see it in his eyes. There's no way QT Marshall beats Paul White. And I'm saying that objectively, not as a guy who is pissed off at QT.
Oh! What the hell just happened? Now the shot to the head by Billy Gunn. Diamond cutter by QT Marshall. And now I only wonder if he can even make it 100% at All Out.
Miro, the reason why I ran out, you said my name. My name is my name, my dude. That is serious to me. I can't be having people calling me out and then I don't answer. That makes me look like a chump. Real simple street mathematics there. I will not look like a chump. No offense to Lee Johnson, no offense to Fuego, no offense to anyone else you have fought for that TNT championship. But they weren't ready. They weren't grown men yet. I'm a grown man. I like this. I like the violence. I like the fight. Because without a fight, I'm pretty much lost. Call yourself God's favorite champion. Guess what? I'm your punishment. Your God has sent me here to punish you. Miro, I know you're chinking your armor, and that's your neck. Why is the DDT your kryptonite? Because your neck is your kryptonite. Your neck is the chink. Exploder suplex, spinning back fist, everything on the neck. I'll tell you my game plan. I'm going after your neck. I'm going after everything that you love and desire. And that's that TNT championship, because without that championship, you're no longer God's favorite. Take my hand. We're gonna walk through hell together. And then maybe, if you survive that, you'll get to go to your God's heaven. Doubt it.
Eddie Kingston talking about DDTs and kryptonites. God's favorite champion stays down only for his wife in a hotel room after a victory. The Mad King will realize that redemption comes only after agony. And I'm coming to bring both.
God's favorite champion!
This is the word of the Redeemer.
Well, everybody wants a piece of AEW these days. They're coming from everywhere. Now that we're the hottest promotion in the world, selling out buildings, changing the game. What makes them think it's so easy? Don't forget, I'm the guy who carried the world championship on his back. I'm the guy who waved the flag for this company through dark days, through dark times, through empty buildings. I think it's about time we send a message about what it really takes to be on top in AEW, about who's still at the top of the food chain in AEW. Do we get the FedEx back from Tokyo today? One contract, signed, sealed, delivered. Only one. Only one guy with the balls to step through the door. Only one guy with the balls to chase the boogeyman in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I couldn't believe it. Kojima. Satoshi. And I thought, man, what a treat for the fans in Chicago to see a legend of New Japan, a legend of All Japan, live and in person. That's a real treat for the fans. And when I started thinking about it, I am insulted. This crazy-ass old man who wants to step in the ring, go toe-to-toe with me? Kojima. Kojima-san. Looks like you got a death wish. You want to go out in a blaze of glory, that's fine. Once that bell rings, I got no respect for anybody. I'm trying to take your head off. Every time I hit you, I'm trying to knock you senseless. Every time I drop you on your head, I'm trying to break your neck. Every time I squeeze you by the throat, I'm trying to break your esophagus and put a hole in it so you have to eat through a straw for the rest of your life. September 5th, it all out. The public execution of the legend, Satoshi Kojima.
What do you want to do for this company? You're supposed to say, I want to be the AEW champion. So that's WrestleSpeak. But in Phil Brooks' heart, what do you want to do for this company?
You know, I got to wrestle Eddie Guerrero quite a few times.
Yeah.
I think so many times that a lot of people out there don't realize it. And Eddie famously got rehired. You know, when I met Eddie and got to wrestle him, he was in the midst of a very dark time in his life. So he hit the indies. I don't think he wanted to be on the indies. You know, I'm sure he was making okay money, but he wasn't making Eddie Guerrero money. He wasn't making the money they should have. And I befriended this guy, and admits that, he cleans himself up, he gets his job back. He fulfilled one of his bookings against me in Pittsburgh. Promoter's name was Norm Connors, Pittsburgh IWC. So I show up to the building and I'm like, I'm so happy for you, dude. You know, this is great. Promoter comes by and gives us times, says, you know, and oh, by the way, Eddie's the Intercontinental Champion, okay? So I'm not beating Eddie Guerrero, you know? I think I was the IWC champion at the time. Eddie says, no, I can't beat your champion. You know, let's do a time limit draw. Wow. Okay. So now I'm nervous. I got to go. I think it was like 30 minutes with Eddie. Can I do this? You know, I like challenges, and I just thought that was super selfless of him. Number one, to fulfill bookings. Not a lot of guys would do that. Number two, to say, I don't got to beat you. I'm not going to be here next week, next month. You are, and you know, he's the champion of a place that, for better or for worse, someday I would like to work at, right? So we have this match. The bell rings. The crowd stands on their feet. I'm exhausted. I'm happy it's over, you know, because the dude was a machine.
Oh, boy.
And he grabs the microphone and he says, Punky, I can't leave without, you know, knowing. Like, he's like, I should have been able to beat you. He said, I want 5 more minutes, and I'm going to put the IC title on the line. This is not talked about beforehand.
Yeah,
this was Eddie. I'm going to start crying. And I'm like, okay. So we lock back up, and he says, sorry, Punky, I got to hit the frog splash. And I'm just elated because I'm a kid, and I love pro wrestling, and I love Eddie Guerrero. He hits me with the frog splash. He pins me. And then he gets on the mic and he says, you know, you're good. Someday you're gonna be up there and you're gonna wrestle me for this up there. That's what I would like to do for this company.
There you go.
I'm not saying that I'm Eddie Guerrero to any of these kids in the locker room. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But that spirit of wanting to fulfill dates and wanting to give back and also wanting to challenge young wrestlers with scenarios that aren't talked about. Pull stuff out of the hat, learn how to ad-lib. Man, I've literally done everything, you know, except come back and tell the story that I want to tell my way.
Right.
And along the way, if I can, you know, be Eddie Guerrero to a kid, I want to do that. You know, there's so many legends of this business that selflessly helped me, you know. I mean, Harley Race, whoever thought Harley Race would like a kid like me? Eddie Guerrero, Tracy Smothers.
Yeah.
I mean, the list goes on and on.
Coming up next on AEW Countdown to All Out, the Lucha Brothers want the AEW World Tag Team Champions. Is their time now? Plus, the AEW World Champion Kenny Omega will take on Christian Cage this Sunday. Will we see a new champion crowned? And still to come.
It took me sitting on the outside looking in to see how things unfold, and the more of my friends who got jobs here would tell me how great and different it was.
It was the return that we all dreamed of. And it made us all feel alive.
CM Punk has arrived in All Elite Wrestling!
We cheered. We cried. We were all united by the moment, and we'll share that memory forever.
This building hasn't shook like this since Michael Jordan was here!
Now, the countdown is on.
Darby Allin!
15-year-old CM Punk rolling around in the backyard with his friends. Darby Allin would have been his favorite wrestler. Kids skateboards, kids punk rock. There's something to him.
Does this daredevil have what it takes to step out of the shadows and into the light?
It's Chicago. I will see you, and I'll see Sting, and I'll see all of you. September 5th, All Out!
Or will the best in the world prove that his fighting spirit still burns bright?
It's me and you, Darby Allin, and it's a lot less about proving the haters wrong, and it's more about proving myself right.
It's the most anticipated fight of the year.
Does CM Punk still have what it takes?
For the first time ever, it's CM Punk versus Darby Allin. All Elite Wrestling presents All Out. It all goes down Sunday, live in Chicago.
Look who it is! Oh my God! I know, it's the greatest tag team of all time, the Young Bucks. The EVPs, the extremely violent people.
Some people might think that the Young Bucks, their cockiness might go too far. They might be a little bit over the top, and it gets annoying.
The Young Bucks have bought into their own hype.
Really, guys? That doesn't make any sense because for about the past year now, we have shown the entire AEW tag team division that we're the best of all time and there's ain't nobody in our league.
Tony Khan has informed me he's had enough, okay? And we're gonna have a tag team tournament. The winner will get a world title shot in Chicago against you guys in a steel cage. What?
The Lucha Bros were not anointed this match. They had to earn their right to be the #1 contenders for the AEW Tag Team Championship. I like that aspect of matchmaking. You earn what you get.
There's a history that goes back with these two sets of brothers. They don't like each other. They're ultra competitive against each other. They want to outdo each other.
It was All Out in 2019. Escalera de la Muerte, the ladder match. Really one of the best tag team matches of that year.
We have proven that we are collectively the greatest group of world champions in the history of this business, and they're gonna have to retire our dang jerseys up high in the rafters because they're gonna have to bury us with these belts.
The cage is an interesting stipulation.
We've seen time and time again the Young Bucks relying on the other members of the Elite to help them win.
This is the way to level the playing field and really give the Lucha Brothers a chance to win it.
I've had a lot of steel cage match experience in my career. It's unforgiving. It doesn't care about your hopes. The only thing the steel cage cares about is busting you open. So I hope the Young Bucks are taking this into consideration. Because if they haven't planned for it, they're going to kiss those tag team championships goodbye.
For years, Kenny Omega was known as one of the best wrestlers in the world, if not the best wrestler in the world.
Well, one of the reasons that Kenny Omega has been able to maintain a quote-unquote stranglehold on the AEW World title is because he's just that damn good.
Kenny Omega and Don Callis have made history.
Collecting gold all over the world.
I think Kenny Omega is the best one-on-one wrestler in the world today.
AEW has relied on Kenny to carry the load.
Kenny Omega is as advertised. He is tremendous.
Not many men can say they've beaten Kenny Omega inside an AEW ring. Christian Cage is one of them.
Where you gotta look right now, what's happening with Christian Cage since he's came to AEW. He's undefeated in singles competition. He has pinned Kenny Omega already for the Impact Championship.
He has charisma, he has talent.
He's hungry, and a veteran, hungry wrestler are the most dangerous kind.
He beat Kenny Omega.
So now Christian has that momentum rolling in.
Kenny Omega and I have won so many titles around the world. Are you finished, you carny piece of shit?
Don Callis is one of the most petty and vindictive people I've ever met.
He is an underhanded, no good son of a... I don't like Don Callis. None of us like Don Callis.
Congratulations on your win over Kenny Omega.
My God, it's good to see you.
To think that what happened between Don Callis and Christian Cage will not play a factor in this match, that would be naive.
The last time I saw you was, yes, when I gave you your first break in the wrestling business, put you on national TV in Winnipeg.
How can you really say Kenny Omega's going to lose a big match?
He finds a way to win.
We're talking about Chicago. We're talking about a pay-per-view that the world's going to be watching.
I think this match is going to be unbelievable.
For a guy like Christian Cage going into a pay-per-view with this kind of momentum, might be the worst night of Kenny Omega's life.
Coming up next, why does CM Punk think that AEW All Out is the must-see pay-per-view of the year?
Wrestling a guy like him, is it hard to prepare? Or what are you going to do to prepare after 7 years gone? Anything different?
There's a lot of questions, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions. Can Punk still go? Is Punk gear still fit? These are questions that I don't even know. We're going to answer them on September 5th. But think about this. Darby Allin reminds the legendary Jim Ross of CM Punk.
Right.
But imagine if that young CM Punk had Sting in his corner. Now, this is a guy that has literally been everywhere and done everything in his mind behind maybe some of the unorthodoxness of a Darby Allin. To me, makes him possibly currently one of the most dangerous opponents in AEW. Why wouldn't I want to test myself?
Yeah.
I don't want to dip my toe into the pool. I want to jump into the deep end.
Well, he's not an easy out. He's got a great record here. He's come through in big moments. So he's got that big match experience. But I think he said it best. Wrestling CM Punk is tough. If I'm a guy sitting at home contemplating what I'm going to do on Sunday night, September the 5th, there's this pay-per-view out here called All Out. And CM Punk's going to be wrestling among other stars. Why should I buy it?
If I'm the guy that caught your eye and you want to see what I'm all about after 7 years, that's why you buy the pay-per-view. If you want to see some of the greatest athletes in professional wrestling today, that's why you buy the pay-per-view. The future's unwritten. If you want to see CM Punk fall flat on his face, that's why you buy the pay-per-view. You know, I don't know what's going to happen. I know I'm going to be as prepared as I can be, and let's see if I can hang with these kids. To me, that's what this is about. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of questions that we're going to answer, and we're going to answer them all on September 5th. That's why you buy the pay-per-view.
The point I was making is that Tony Khan's done a great job of signing some talented people. And, you know, as the old rumor mill goes, more on the way. Good time to be at AEW, I'd say, my friend.
Yeah.
If you like to wrestle.
Timing's everything, you know, and it was the right time. And September 5th, it's time to find out if I can still go against Darby Allin.
Good luck on September 5th. Great to see you back.
Luck's for losers, Jim.
Appreciate you.